Welcome to my swing trade analysis video. In this video, I will show you my swing trade price level and price action scenario that I'm watching for the FAANG stock. Apple, Tesla, Netflix, Meta, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and NVDA. Now, the difference between my swing trade and my weekly analysis is the time span I use for the analysis. If you're interested in my weekly analysis of these FAANG stock, then go visit my Substack page. The link is smtraderCA.substack.com. I also place this link in the video description below. Don't forget to smash the thumbs up and leave a comment to help promote this video after you have finished watching. And if you are new to this channel and like to continue to watch these content from me, then subscribe. Now let's go and check out my analysis for the swing trade. Now let's take a look at Apple on the big picture type of look here, looking for swing trade. Now, I got a volume profile using the TradingView fixed range volume profile set up between the low of March 2020 to the present. And by the way, I put out a video on this fixed range volume profile, and you could go and watch it to see how I set it up and how I use it to help establish some potential support and resistance zone. So I'm using this fixed range volume profile to set up a composite. And these are some of the levels that I have identified for a swing type of basis. I'm looking at this volume, these low volume area or the volume ledgers that we're talking about, and setting up those as potential support or resistance level. And looking at Apple right now, you see Apple came up to this 157.5 and pulled back down to this composite point of control. And Friday, we got a nice bounce back up. So what I'm looking at right now is to see would it continue to bounce and get back up, possibly to this trend line here. Maybe you could find some resistance on this little small trend line and see would it reverse back down. And we are basically looking for the possibility of another bounce off of this 138.58. If it come back down here and we see a bounce, and play a swing long back up to this 157.5. Now, if it comes down and unable to get a bounce and breaks below it, then I'd be looking for a potential short setup and short Apple down to possibly to this 119.26, and that would be somewhere at this lower edge of this balance area here. So that would be the short scenario. And the other scenario is I'm not going to chase this FOMO up. If it breaks this trend line, I'm looking to see would it get a rejection up here at 157.5 and pushes back down. And if it does, then I go and look for a swing short back to this 138.58. The other possibility is it come up to this 157.52 and breaks it. Then I look for a back test back to this 157.5. Then look for a swing long up to this 175.90 or 176 area. Now, there's a lot of possible if, right? But that is the way to plan your trade, right? You plan out the scenario and then you watch the price action and wait for the price action to either play into one of your scenario, then you know what plan to follow, right? If it doesn't, then you just sit tight rather than randomly go and take some trade on an emotional basis. So that's basically what I'm doing when I plan out these trade scenario, is to basically draw a map of what I like to see, and when that roadmap to be in play, then I know what action to take. And here for Tesla, I also did the same. Generate a composite volume profile from the March 2020 low to the present, and identify some of these key potential resistance and support level, looking at these volume ledgers, right? These ledgers here, okay? Some people call it volume shell, other people call it ledgers. But basically, it's the edge of these high volume area. So basically looking at those area for a start of potential support or resistance level. And looking at Tesla, you see Tesla came down to this 102, 103 and bounced strongly and came up to over $200. And right now it appeared that it could be pulling back to this 180.34 again. So if it does, then I will be looking for a possible setup for a swing long to come back up to above this 220 and possibly come in and tag this trend line, then see would it break this trend line, move up to the 254 area, and that would be this upper edge of this value area. So essentially it is like the value area high of this micro value area. Okay, so that is one possible long scenario that I'm looking at. The other one is if it comes down to this 180 and breaks, then I'd be looking for a short to go down to this 150, 199, 152 area. Okay, that would be a near-term swing short if it breaks below this 180.34. And if you want to be a little bit more conservative, then you want to wait until it breaks below this 150, 199, and 152, do a little back test, and then you look for a short setup to swing it short down to this 102.81 again. Okay, so those are the possible scenarios that I am looking at for Tesla. Looking at Netflix for the big picture. Now, I did not go back to the March 2020 low to set up the composite profile for Netflix because it has already kind of retraced majority of that move, from this earning gap sell-off and also the other earning gap sell-off. So that's why I did not go back to this area here because it already went below this March 2020 low. So instead, I set up a volume profile, the composite, using the high, the all-time high, to the present, and see where are some of the potential resistance and support level going back up and coming down. And these are some of the level here. And right now it is sitting below this 330. And this right here would have been a setup for a short to come down to this 249 area here. So right now I am kind of waiting to see would it be able to pull back up here and look for another setup to go short on Netflix on this 249 level. Now, if it come back up and get back above the 330, then could look for potential long up, swing back up to this 370.74 and possibly even trail it up to this 395. So those are the long and short scenario for potential swing trade on Netflix. And for Meta, it's pretty much the same as Netflix because it already went below the March 2020 low. So I'm just set up a composite volume profile from the all-time high to the present and then look for potential resistance and support level. Right now, we see Meta is sitting right at this 185.25 near this ledge here. And so it could be a potential resistance and look for potential setup and possibly come back down and fill this gap here. Then could look for even trailing it down to this 124.65. So the gap here near this 156.77 is the first potential short target down here. Now, if it come back up to this 185.25, look for back test, and it could, looking for a swing to swing long up to possibly up to this 234, 235 area, and double check this pivot high here and this pivot high. And looking at Google, we see Google is bouncing off of this composite volume profile here. Now, once again, I'm going back to the March 2020 low and generate a composite volume profile from there to the present. So I'm looking at the possibility of retracing back down to this 85.28 and see would it get a bounce to look for a little bit of a long swing trade back up to this 105, or if it breaks below this level here at this 85, then I'd be keeping an eye out for potential short setup to swing short down to this 70.23 level. And the other thing is, if the price continue to move up from the recent bounce and come up to this 105, then I will be looking at price action at this level here. If it breaks above, then I look for a trade setup for a long swing long up to this 122 area. But if it get rejected back down, then I will be looking for a short setup to swing it back down to this 85 level. Now looking at Amazon, Amazon is getting close to coming back to the March 2020 low here. And right now it is just kind of getting a little bit of a bounce here. You see that it broke about this 103 resistance and tried to make its move up to this 124, but was unable to do so and come back down to below this 103. So I would not be surprised to see Amazon to continue to retrace back down to this 80.75 level on the downside. But if it does get back up to this 103 and get above it, then might be looking for potential long to swing back up to this 124. But if it get rejected, then once again, we're looking for Amazon to try to retrace back down to this 80.75. And here looking at Microsoft, Microsoft got a nice bounce off of its 218 and bounced all the way up to this upper edge or this ledge here on this value area at the 275.76 and then got rejected and retracing back down. So on this move, I'm more inclined to look for Microsoft to come down to this 218 level rather than look for it to come up to this 275. Not saying that it could not do that, but right now I'm basically looking at a probability standpoint. There's a higher probability that it will come down here. Now, let's say Microsoft does come back up to this 275.76, then I will look for a price action, either break above to get a swing long up to this 315 or get a rejection back down and swing short to the 218. NVDA is up at this 238.90, this resistance here. We'll see, will it be able to break above that and get a little bit of a back test and push up to this 289. That would be a ideal type of long swing long type of target up here to this pivot high. So I'll be keeping an eye on NVIDIA for the coming week to see would it set up some sort of long setup to take a swing long up to this 289 level. Now, if it does get rejected back down and dip below, stay underneath this 238, then I'd be watching for a possible swing short, at least on a little bit intermediate term, down to this 205.86 area. But if it breaks below that, then I could see NVIDIA eventually retrace back down to this 116 level. But for now, I'm just concentrating on the price action, either swing short down to the 205 or swing long up to the 289 possibility. Now let's take a big picture look, the swing trade type of look on the SPY here. Again, I basically have set up a volume profile, composite volume profile from the March low to the present for SPY and identify some key pivot level, the potential resistance and support area. So right now, SPY appear to be bouncing off of this composite point of control here and also this trend line. So we'll see, would it be able to come up and take out this 410, 411? And if it could move above that and be looking for a swing long up to the 425. And if it's unable to get above this 410, 411, let's say it come back down and dip below the composite point of control, I'd be watching to see any kind of setup to swing it down to this 364.80. So look for the possibility of some price action here for a swing short. But I won't be go and chase this move for a swing long until either it could get above this 410 and do a little bit of a back test. Then I'd be looking at a swing long up to the 425. So that's a big picture look for potential swing trade. Let me know how you like this new format. Do you want to see more of these type of a swing trade analysis from me? And leave me a comment below to let me know or would you rather see more of into this time span instead of a week-to-week type of basis on the short couple day type of a trade. So be sure to smash the thumbs up, help me promote this video. And if you are new to this channel and you would like to continue to see this type of content from me, be sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching and stay safe.